Hello everybody, today we're going to take a look at the G.I. Joe Classified Series number 75, Chuckles! It is the PulseCon exclusive figure, which I finally have because of my very good friend Peachy, who was willing to ship this to me, and I really appreciate that a lot. Follow TikTok right here. Join the Discord server, which her and I also run. It is a G.I. Joe one, so do that. It should be on the screen right now and in the description down below and probably in the pinned comment as well. Go check that out before we get into the review. Now, getting into the review, looking at the box here, I really like this box a lot. It's got a super like retro radio look to it, you know, with the knobs and everything, the frequency, but also with a kind of a modern touch here with the whole average, you know, Skype or Discord symbols here. Philip Chuckles Provost right there. Looks at a little camera here. His very smiley, like I don't know, just big jerk face, which I really appreciate a lot. Doing a peace sign. Got the Cobra Crimson Bat, what is it, folder? Yeah, file card, which I have because it came in the big one with these three down here below, in that as well. On the side here, just some standard, you know, signal frequency stuff, just, you know, whatever. On the back here, very much the same, but with the extensive enterprises. All the shenanigans stuff, don't put it in your mouth, Hasbro logo. On the side here, number 75 with an embossed like knob here, all the stuff embossed, a QR code, which will just take you to the Hasbro website. That's it for the outside, but on the inside here is a very cool artist rendering of what and how Chuckles got him into this situation. Or rather, himself in this situation. You can see him taking the Center of Enterprises briefcase, running down the stairs, blocking bullets from the Cobra Bats, jumping down, jumping out the window into the car to make his intense getaway. It's really cool. I like that a lot. I like that everything is gray except for Chuckles and the skyline. That's a really nice touch. On the side here is just a product render, which, whatever. I would have preferred if it was just like a window so you could look inside, but whatever. But hey, you know, it's nice. I appreciate it. I really like this box a lot. It's very cool. But, you know, we're not here for the box. We're here for everything else. So let's get it open. And here we have Chuckles with as many of his accessories as I could physically fit onto his person. Yeah, no, he is really good. I love this. I love Chuckles. I don't know if any of you have read it, but the G.I. Joe Cobra miniseries, or rather 2 miniseries that were made about Chuckles, are really good. You should go check them out. First one is 4 issues long. The next is 12. It's totally worth the read. It really informs why Chuckles is probably one of my favorite Joes. It's a really well done series. It also informs why whenever I film a video where you can see my face, I'm wearing the Chuckles Hawaiian vest because I just love that look so much. And I love this look so much. The green pants, the blue shirt, the holster on his chest, which I will talk about later. I kind of have issues with it. But the big headphones, sunglasses, the lei, which I also have issues we'll talk about later. The briefcase, which I also have issues we'll talk about later. I have some minor issues with this, but stuff that doesn't really ruin the figure for me personally. It might do it for you, which I'll talk about it. But, you know, enough just looking at him spinning here. Let's take a closer look at him. And here is Chuckles exactly how you'd find him out of the box. And I really like him. Again, I think it looks really good. His face looks like somebody, but I don't know who. If anyone could tell me who he looks like, I would really appreciate it. But he looks like somebody, and I don't know who, but it's really bugging me. I don't know how I feel about the face sculpt for Chuckles specifically. I always kind of imagined him more of like your traditional, like, Bond-looking pretty boy, not exactly like a very toned face. It's kind of looking like Daniel Craig a little bit. But, you know, teach their own there, I guess, on how that looks. But face sculpt isn't bad. I don't hate it. The hair looks really nice. It's a very nice blonde. The eyebrows are more of a dirty blonde there. The skin tone matches everything fairly well. I don't really have any issues. The chest looks a little more tan, but besides that, it looks fine. This, I have issues with this. This sucks. I wish that it pegged into the back here. Like, I wish that it pegged in here, or that it just didn't come off, because the way that it's shaped, it just does this. It doesn't sit right. It doesn't lay right. Like, if you move it to the side a little bit, it drips off. There are times where I just straight up take it off because the way that it sits in there, I just don't like it. It's very easy to remove, by the way. It's just very simple. Just move the arm out of the way. But that's probably my biggest issue with this guy, is that this whole assembly just does not want to sit on right, because, I don't know, I guess it's just too loose. I would have preferred if they did it like how they did Recondo, where this does not move. This whole assembly stays on. It's not going anywhere. You're not taking this thing off. I don't know if it's glued on, but I think it's just the way that it's molded means it's not going to move. I would have much preferred if this was on that as opposed to that. But I mean, I guess it's cool that you can take it off if you want them a little more casual or a little stealthier. Same thing for the boot, for the knife sheath on his leg there. But hey, you know, whatever. The torso, I really like this. I like the way this all looks. The Hawaiian shirt, very casual, very relaxed. Again, this is really getting in the way. It's really bugging me. But everything's really nice here. I like that on his belt we have the Joe Pro, which we haven't seen for a while. I feel like Hasbro kind of forgot about that or moved on from it, but I really like that whole thing of the like G.I. Joe pager or beeper, whatever. I like that a lot. It serves like a lot of utility purpose, and I don't know how many of you or any of you have played the G.I. Joe tabletop RPG game that Renegade Game Studios developed. That is a vital part of it, which I really think is really cool, and it has serves many different purposes. It's a really nice thing that I appreciate that it's here because it means that Hasbro hasn't completely forgotten about it. I'd like to see a return, is all I'm saying. I think it's really cool. But the pants here are just a very standard green. I think they're reuse from Duke. At least the top half is. Yeah, I think like the top and the bottoms are, except for the knee pads. The knee pads is the difference. And I think the boots are mostly the same. If anyone knows exactly what they're from, I appreciate that. But you'll notice that these are pinned. These aren't pinned. I don't mind that hole that much. Like, so long as like the skin is all like one piece and it doesn't like blend over or anything like that and it doesn't look wrong, I'm fine with it. But if the legs are, you know, if they're pinned or not, I'm fine with that, whatever, as long as it's a matching color. It's usually just one flat color, but with like clothes going over to skin, sometimes it'll mess up and it kind of bugs me, like how some of the Spider-Man figures look. This is fine by me. I don't mind that much, but I can totally understand why it would bug you because it does not sit as well as pinned joints do. These legs are a little gummier than like Shipwreck or Outback or something. But yeah, no, I don't mind it that much, but it makes perfect sense why it would bug somebody if it does bug you. Now, onto his hand here, he does have a wristwatch, which you can actually move if you want to. It has a timer on it, which is now at 1 second, which, I mean, who knows what that's going to do? Probably set off a bomb somewhere. It is Chuckles, but that is on there. On his belt, which we'll go back to here now, there are 2 spots on here. There's one hole and one, like, grab, like, peg point, which I will show you exactly what it does here. If you take the accessories of, if it'll focus here, this cassette tape player, which is straight up Soundwave. It's literally Soundwave. It has the same mold lines as the original Soundwave figure does. And for proof of that, here is my G1 Soundwave. This is the exact same thing. And I, for one, am a huge, huge fan of that. I really like that a lot. It just means that he's packing Soundwave, which is pretty funny. Now, like I was saying, to peg these on, there's a little hole on the back of the cassette tape player, which will peg in right here if I can get it to focus. There we go. Peg that in there. So it sits in the back here. You can move it like this, but it has a tendency to fall out a little bit. So I just turn it to the side a little bit because it's going to be fine that way. And then you can take the binoculars, which also comes with, which are very cool. These are not like the kind of futuristic ones that Duke came with. These are very standard, regular binoculars, and I think they're very cool. And they peg onto the back here, albeit not as well. Like, yeah, these don't peg on very well. So I tend to just keep them in his handy-dandy briefcase. But I'm sure that you could find a way to finagle it for it to stay on longer than a minute, unlike that. But yeah, those are some of the accessories that it comes with. They're very cool. As for the rest of the accessories he has, so of course the knife, which will go into his boot there. Not his boot, his thigh. Why do I keep saying boot? I keep thinking of a boot knife. I don't know why. But the knife here is very cool. It's a very standard looking knife. Kind of looks a little long. The handle is about as long as the blade itself, but it can peg into his hand, and it can slide right here into the sheath. So it gets in there perfectly. Fits in there very nice. Now he also has just like a 1911. This is just a very standard M1911. Very cool. I really don't have any complaints with this. I think it's basically perfect. You know, the trigger guard's a little big, but like that's fine. Everything else is basically perfect. Got a little hole in here as well, so if you have any blast effect pieces, I don't. If you do, You can stick them in there and make it look very cool. And you can slide that right in here into his holster. If I can, there we go. Very nice. So you can do that. Now, that's not all that he comes with, but we'll get into that in a minute. Now, as for the rest of the figure itself, he does have some very nice black boots. Very standard. I mean, this is just your average Joe. I get it. This is your average Joe. He's supposed to blend in. He's not supposed to stand out super hard. He is obviously a spy. He is a stealth operative. So I think it's really cool just the way he looks. And I like that this is removable. This is removable. Everything is removable, so you can have him blend in better if you want to. If that's something you want to do, his head pops off pretty easily, so you can, stick it onto the body of like a Cobra agent or like a Crimson Soldier or something like that. Be really cool for photos and everything. Be really nice. But as for the articulation of this guy, he has a ball joint, of course, as they all do. Goes up that far, goes down that far. There is a joint here in the bottom of the neck as well, but it doesn't move quite as well as the others do. There's an ab crunch, which goes that far forward, that far back. There's a ball joint at the waist here, which allows a lot of movement there. Butterfly joints, which are nice. Some of them move a little better than the others, but it's nice that they're there. Again, the shoulders can do a full 360 and a swivel at the bicep, which, I don't like that cut very much. It kind of cuts the clothing, so it looks a little weird. I would prefer it was here, which at the skin itself. Double jointed pinless elbows. Oh boy, I'm getting hiccups. Hope not. They suck. The hands go up and down like this, or these hands do. He has a second set of hands, which we'll look at in a moment. The drop-down hips are back, because of course they are. They're never leaving. Whether you like them or hate them, I don't like them that much. But to each their own. There's a swivel here at the upper thigh. Double jointed knees. Look very nice. Like I said, pinned. There's a swivel here at the calf. Foot goes down that far. Forward. Barely anything. And a forward-facing pin for rocker on the feet there, as per usual. So that's very standard with your Joes. And like I said, that is not all the accessories that he has. So let's look at the other heads and hands. And here's the other head as well as the other hands. His head, as you can see, is kind of a bruised, damaged expression, but still with a smile. I love that smirk. I think this is the head I'm going to keep on him for good from now on. I love it. It very much fits the vibe of Chuckles. Still getting his head, still getting his bell rung a little bit, but he's still smiling, even through a couple broken teeth, a black eye, a bunch of scrapes on his face. It works really well, and as you can see, his other hands are fisted with brass knuckles on both of them. Now, I'm not an expert on using brass knuckles, but from what I've seen, you don't want to hold them like this, because I'm pretty sure all that's going to happen is whenever he connects with somebody, he's just going to break his hands. I thought you're supposed to hold them like this, where the brass itself is on the top of here, and you just kind of lightly swing, but he's got them in a clenched fist, so I got the feeling he's going to break all of the bones in his hands here. But hey, I'm sure he knows better than I do, so I'll trust him on this one. But yeah, those are the other hands and the head that he comes with, and I really like that. I like that because it is, a more expensive, con exclusive type situation. Got a lot more accessories, different heads and hands. It's nice. I would like it if every Joe came with a set of interchangeable closed hands. I get why they don't, because all the money for all that stuff goes into the sculpt work and the accessories and how many guns they have and all the knives and everything, which I really appreciate. I'm not going to say I don't want that. I'm just like, if it was an option, I would love it if more of the Joes came with additional hands. Because so far the only Joes that I have that have other hands is this guy, and Snake Eyes, and Sergeant Slaughter. Because Sergeant Slaughter came with like 4 sets of hands, which was crazy. But yeah, that is him with his additional hands. So yeah. Now, as for the accessories that we have not looked at yet, the first one that I want to look at is the briefcase, which he comes with, which is very nice. I like this a lot. It's not the same one that he has in the picture, nor is it the one that the Extended Enterprises 3-pack is using as the box, which I really feel like is a missed opportunity. It should have been that one, but I get it. They probably designed these at different times, and they came up with that idea later. But I really wish that was the one that we got, because that would have completed this whole set perfectly. This whole little mini store that they made at the con, that would have completed it perfectly. And I wish that was there. I got a 3D printer. I might try and 3D print something like that, but I really wish that's what it was. But even if it's not, this briefcase still looks very nice. It has a very nice texture to it. It feels different than like a cheap plastic. It feels I don't know, it just feels different when you touch it with your hands. But I like this a lot. I like the scraping on here. As you can see, the texture on the inside. This isn't me like damaging it. This is how it came sculpted, and I really like that a lot. Inside, you can see the sculpt where you'd like put like papers or something in here. A lot of space in here. It's very nice damage on this side as well. Snaps closed. Very nice. I like this a lot. It's really cool. It's a nice piece, but again, I wish it was the Extensive Enterprises one. Now, speaking of extensive enterprises, here is what Chuckle has been after the entire time, the blueprints, presumably the everything on the Crimson Bats, and this is just a really cool piece to have. I hope that Hasbro reuses this piece additionally in the future somewhere down the line, because I really am a sucker for these little tiny bits of the world that aren't weapons or vehicles or anything, just things that they can hold, and things that aren't just weapons, like props, like bottles, or like cards, things like that. Just little tiny things like that that make them feel more alive and more real. And this is one of them. I would love to see this more. I might even straight up just like make a place in my shelf whenever I get a hawk and just put him behind a desk for the rest of it with this on there and like a mug and other stuff like that, just because it really completes that whole look, and I like that a lot. This is really cool. It's very much just hard plastic. It's just yellow with white, and then this cobra bat head printed on there with with a money sign next to it, which is pretty funny. I had actually noticed that before until I got it real up close in the camera there. That's pretty funny. Yeah, so that's the thing. That is the MacGuffin with which everyone has been searching for this entire whole 2 figure sets. Additionally, to place on his head, we have a set of sunglasses, which are a kind of a bright pink with a little black on there. Looks nice enough. There's a lot of classified figures that come with sunglasses, I've noticed. I have at least 5, 6 pairs, which I'm not complaining about, but it is neat that they have those. So you can really put this on anybody, Duke, Hawk, Flint, whoever you want to wear sunglasses. The option's there, which I appreciate. Now, that is not all. There is also, right here, which also goes on his head, a pair of headphones, which I think aren't the ones that Star-Lord uses in the Marvel Legends wave. I don't have that figure, so I can't be certain, but they are exactly the same. Like, black with the orange little earmuffs. This is 100% the set headphones that Star-Lord uses. I don't think it's the same sculpt, but it is 100% the exact same style of headphones. Well, it makes sense, of course, because these are the headphones to the Walkman, so of course it would be. But they are there. You can put them on his head. They don't sit as well as I'd like. They're kind of a bit big. I might heat it up a little bit and then freeze it. But yeah, there they are. There's also this lei, which does not sit very well. Let me grab him real quick. Grab Chuckles here, put it on him, because it doesn't look very good. Like, it doesn't sit as well as I'd like. There you go. Well, now it's sitting pretty darn well, but usually it sits up real high like this, like he's a 17th century aristocrat. It doesn't look as good as I'd like it to. I think it might just be a little big, and I think it might just like not be laying flat enough that I'd like. It's a nice touch. I don't hate it. I'm sure that like somebody out there likes it and everything, but I don't know, it just feels kind of unnecessary. Like, I don't like it that much. I would have preferred this had gone to, I don't know, make it another briefcase that looks like the Extensive Enterprise one. I'm never going to get off that. I'm still so mad that is not included. But whatever. Yeah, you can take the lei off and everything. But yeah, that is something else that he comes with. I almost forgot this set of accessories, which are a pair of handcuffs, which if you remove the hands of any classified figure, you can put them on there. And then these set of handcuffs, which are broken, which are really cool. I like that a lot. I really do, because you can do so much fun stuff with that, like photography-wise. It really feels like Hasbro's thinking about people who do take photos and make videos and everything with these figures, with the very specific niche objects that we're including in the set, like the file card, like the little headphones, the lei, the everything, the handcuffs. Like, it really feels like they're really thinking about what the community is going to do with that, and I really like that. I'd like to see more of that. My only issue with these handcuffs is that the size of them, like the links in between, too short, and it's all hard plastic. So I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna break these, because I'm just trying to put his hands together. Like, I wish that, I know they wouldn't do it, but I wish that it was real metal. I might Honestly, I have some real metal link chains, like real small ones. I might just snip those out and replace them. If I do, you'll see it. But yeah, no, that is also an option there, and I like them a lot. I wish they were better. Now, as for size comparison, here he is next to Tiger Force Duke, because he's going to be one of your standard size classic figures. And then the blonde dude as well. Looks really nice next to him. He kind of fits in well, whether you have the earlier designs of the classic figures, which look more like this Duke, or with the more modern ones. So he really blends in well at both sides, which I really appreciate, because that is what the collection started to look like. Here he is side by side with the Crimson Twins, which if you have read the G.I. Joe Cobra series, you know that this is not a good trio to see. But even so, he looks really good next to them, and I like having all these guys side by side. These two are still some of my favorite figures that I have. I love the Crimson Twins. They look really, really good. And here he is next to fellow casual wear Joe. We have Shipwreck. They look really good together. Again, I think some of the body here went to Chuckles or went to Shipwreck. They look very similar. I'd be surprised if they were different, but I'm also not an expert on these body molds, so I cannot say for certain. If you do know, let me know. I'd love to know what all this stuff comes from, if it's all unique or not. But yeah, they look really good next to each other. And here he is next to fellow G.I. Joe movie alum Sergeant Slaughter, and they look really good side by side. This whole era of Joe's, oh, there's his figure just dropped. This whole era of Joe's works really well together, in my opinion. So having all these guys side by side, I really like that a lot. I'm a big fan. So there is the Chuckles figure. I love this guy. He's really, really good. I would have loved him regardless of what he looked like. Even if this figure was just a stick figure wearing a t-shirt that it was a Hawaiian one, I would have loved him anyways because I love the character of Chuckles so much. I'm very biased in this review. I'm not even going to pretend that I'm not. This is a incredibly biased review. But even regardless, I love it so much. Again, thank you very much, my good friend Peachy, for shipping this to me. I owe you so much, but this figure is great. I love him. He's fantastic. If you want to continue watching these videos that I like to make please like, comment, subscribe, everything that needs to be done for me to keep making these videos for all you guys. I'd like to thank all 363 of you. That is an absurd number in my mind for sticking around and watching these. I really hope that I can see you next when I see you next. So please take care and join the Discord server that I mentioned at the beginning of this. I really want to keep interacting with the people in this whole community. So thank you so very much. See you next time.